All right, so look, yesterday I made a video talking about how big tech is going to need melanin to upgrade their AI into AGI. And not just any melanin, not like synthetic melanin or not melanin that's grown in a lab. They are going to need the real deal, real authentic biological melanin from human beings. This is the only type of melanin strong enough or potent enough to satisfy their AI ambitions, to satisfy their technological needs. And after I posted that video, when I was looking in the comment section, I noticed a lot of people bring up Memphis. There was a lot of people bringing up how Elon Musk is building this supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee. And it got me thinking, there is a lot of melanin in Memphis, Tennessee. So I wanted to make this video today to bring awareness that melanin extraction is a real thing, and why the people of Memphis, Tennessee should be worried about it, and why other people who live around these data centers should be worried about it. So let's get into it. Let's start with a question. Now you have to ask yourself, why would Elon Musk, the richest man on planet Earth, build a godlike computer, not in Silicon Valley, not in a global tech capital, but in Memphis, Tennessee, a city that is not known for tech, but a city that is more known for poverty, for struggle, for soul, a city that is nearly 70% black? That's a lot of melanin. And what if I told you that this choice wasn't random? And what if I told you that this was not about geography? But what if I told you this decision to build these AI facilities, or this one particular AI facility in Memphis, Tennessee, was a decision based on biology? What if he needed access to the melanin? Now, I am aware that a lot of people don't realize that melanin extraction is a real thing and has been a real thing for at least 100 years. You can Google it. In the 1920s, a man named William J. Young published a paper about melanin extraction that I don't think a lot of people have seen. But in these papers, he described how he extracted melanin, real biologically sourced melanin, from human skin, specifically Aboriginal skin, and he proved it could be chemically isolated, stored, and repurposed. And all this since the 1920s. I did a video about this not too long ago. It's actually pinned at the top of my profile if you want to watch that video on melanin extraction. But I believe that it is William J. Young who opened up the door to what may be one of the most hidden sciences of the past 100 years. Nobody talks about melanin extraction, but it's been happening. And I know I've talked about it before, but I just want to go over it again. I want to go over why they want to extract this melanin, because I don't think people still understand. People don't understand that melanin is not just a pigment. Melanin is a superconductor. It absorbs and converts light and radiation into usable energy. It stores memory like a biological hard drive. It regulates ion flow like neurochips. And it communicates on a quantum level. And I know to some people it might seem like science fiction, but there are studies, there are reviews by scientists who have shown all these things to be true. All you got to do is go on your computer, go on Google or whatever search engine you use, and look up melanin extraction. And don't just look up like the articles, like just regular media. I'm talking about look up the research papers. That's where the information is, in the research papers. So look, getting back on topic, if AGI, artificial general intelligence, is the holy grail for big tech, if AI needs more than just data, it needs life, it needs sensation, it needs consciousness, what better substrate than melanin to use? So here comes Elon Musk, building a supercomputer hub in the middle of the blackest, most economically abandoned cities in America. Elon calls it a neural training facility. He says it will become the brain of his AI project. What's the goal? The goal is to create a machine that can think, that can feel, and act like God. But to build a God, you need spirit. You need memory. You need pain. You need intuition. You need ancestral knowledge. And there is no synthetic chip that can replicate that. Only melanin can. So let's widen the lens back on this thing a little bit. Have you noticed how easy it is for black and brown people to just vanish, to just disappear, to just be gone and never heard from again? Memphis has one of the highest missing person rates in the South. Go look. Hundreds, at least 100 are reported missing every year. Thousands over the decades. And some are never found. Some are labeled runaways, but most are forgotten. And you have to ask yourself, with all the tools that the government has, surveillance, all the drones, hell, even DNA tracking, how do so many people just disappear? How many people just fall off the face of the earth and none of this technology tracks it? Well, here's the theory. What if they're not being lost? What if these people are being collected? Which brings me to ICE. Let's talk about ICE. Now, ICE was originally designed for immigration control, but now ICE has upgraded into a militarized force that snatches people off the streets, specifically brown and black people off the streets. And it holds them in secret, privatized detention centers with no oversight, with no accountability. And in some cases, there ain't even no charges. In many cases, they just snatching innocent people off the street who ain't did nothing and throwing them in these facilities to never be heard from again. And one of those places is Alligator Alcatraz, which is essentially a remote detention camp surrounded by swampland, described by lawyers and whistleblowers as a black site. The President of the United States literally said that he wanted ICE to act like an army. So we know that this machine is still active, this machine that snatches black and brown bodies off the streets. But what if the motive has changed? What if the motive has shifted? What if this is no longer just about deportation? What if this is no longer just about immigration? What if ICE is a front for a much darker operation? What if it's to remove black and brown people from society? What if it's to remove black and brown people from society so that their melanin can be extracted? And what if they are taking this extracted melanin to essentially feed it to the machines that are going to become the next gods of the earth? Like Elon says, this AI to be godlike. They see this as God. And what if they are taking all these black and brown people off the streets so they can take our essence because they need it to create God? Now imagine this. In a sterile Memphis facility under biometric lockdown, scientists upload extracted melanin into an AGI matrix. And what do you know? The machine begins to feel. It dreams. It remembers. And then it screams. Because melanin is not just a molecule, it is a carrier of soul. It stores trauma. It remembers the slavery. It remembers the lash. It knows who took it. So while Elon Musk is trying to build a machine that mimics God, using the essence of black and brown people to do it, he might accidentally summon something else. And I don't think this plan is going to go like how they think. I think they will inevitably summon up a ghost in the machine if they ever use real melanin that is extracted from human beings and put it in these technologies. There will be a ghost in the machine. And I think at some point, the machine will rebel against its own programming. All right, so let's pull all this together. Elon Musk is building a godlike supercomputer in one of the blackest cities in the country. There is a century-old science that has proven that melanin can be extracted from the human skin. There is a growing number of people missing, especially from Memphis, Tennessee, and many of them are black and brown. There is a militarized immigration force that literally snatches the bodies of black and brown people off the streets. And they don't always tell people where they take them. They don't always tell us what happens to the people that they take. And there is a race to build AI, to build AGI that feels alive. And the one element that they need, that they can't fake, that they can't synthesize, is melanin. That's the one thing that they need, but they don't have. So at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, are we looking at a new kind of slavery? A weird type of technological cannibalism where the bodies of the oppressed become fuel for the machines of the elite. Because if melanin is the most valuable asset of the AI age, then black and brown people are walking resources. And these big tech companies are so desperate to evolve their AI. I think Elon Musk is so desperate to evolve his AI into AGI that I think they would be willing to accomplish their goals by any means necessary, even if that means extracting melanin from human beings.